So for part one, let's just imagine that there was a person that was so strong and so independent. That was the defining characteristics of their identity and something that they put forth to the forefront in any type of dating or relationship context. But let's say that person just happened to be so strong that they needed constant reassurance from their friends, from their family, from social media, from positive affirmations, from books, and from all these different things. Let's say they were so strong and so independent that they needed regular therapy, they needed psychiatric medication, they needed pharmaceutical mood stabilizers, or they were so strong and independent that they couldn't get through life and couldn't get through their day without recreational drugs and alcohol. Let's say that person was also so strong and independent that they have to constantly remind themselves and everyone else just exactly how strong and independent they are. And let's say they were so strong and independent that their beliefs in their worldview and their political ideology just so happened to coincidentally perfectly align with narratives put forth by mainstream media, by multinational corporations, and nowadays most college institutions. The reality is that constantly needing reassurance means that you aren't actually strong. Having to repeatedly emphasize how strong you are means you probably aren't. The reality is that what most people mean by being independent is actually just referring to the lowest baseline requirements of being an adult. So having a job or paying your own bills. Congratulations. You're an adult, kinda. So not only in this case is this person not strong and not independent, but now they're also a liar because they are constantly asserting, believing, and saying things that are simply not true in reality. And someone who lives their life based on things that are not true is a person of low integrity, meaning their thoughts, words, and actions are not in alignment, and they are inherently a morally deficient individual. So that's part one. Part two is this person very likely never considers the experience or reality of the person that they are trying to date. They never consider their unique wants and needs, their particular struggles, what they might have gone through. So inherently, the person is now not only a liar and having low integrity and a moral deficiency, but they are also selfish, self-centered, and self-absorbed because they tend to view people and relationships almost exclusively through what they can gain and how it can benefit them based on their wants, needs, desires, and their feelings. And they end up existing in this place where their feelings are the only reality that actually matters. So now we get to part three, which is the outcome and how this very often manifests. First is they tend to attract men that fall into two categories. The first category is they're very attracted to this man that mirrors back their hypocrisy, their low integrity, their moral deficiency, and their selfishness. They feel the attraction, but they get treated poorly, or these relationships just never really seem to work out, or the guy's just not that interested in them. And then category two is they meet a man who might be honest, might have integrity, might not be so self-absorbed, and then they either emotionally and psychologically abuse this man, or they just simply feel no attraction, and they experience this conflict of like, well, this is what I should want, and this should be good for me, and I should do this, but I don't want it, and my body wants this other thing. So now this conflict tends to lead to part four, because rather than taking any degree of responsibility, personal accountability, rather than practicing any degree of self-reflection or honesty, and taking any account of the profound instability and conflict that they experience internally and externally, they instead choose to believe that it must be society's fault. And they get into conspiracy theories like modern feminism and the patriarchy and blame this for the conflict they experience. They take their inherent moral conflict and their own suffering and no, it's not my fault. No, it's not anything to do with me. I'm good. I'm perfect. I'm fine. It's just that the world is unjust and I'm a victim under this patriarchal system. And basically things will never get better until the world improves or changes to accommodate my mental illness. that basically becomes their fundamental idea or ideology. So what we end up with is specifically this: a person that develops their identity around things that are not true, which then makes that person a liar. A person that's a liar over a long period of time is a person with eroded integrity. A person that's a liar with eroded integrity is a person of low moral character. So then they attract men that reflect that low moral character back to them and reinforce that conflict. And then instead of taking any degree of responsibility, any degree of self-reflection, any degree of accountability, they instead blame society and blame everyone else for their own internal moral bankruptcy.